Um, Hi everybody. I'm gonna read again. Wrote it in play form, and I think I'm gonna read it in story form now. Peoples of the Open Air in B.H.Kiln. It was a play in 4 acts by Paul Arthur Bedard. It will remain that, but I'm gonna read it this time as a story. And the cast of characters are the ancient ark builder, Heraclemetry, the kiln designer, Lady First Light of Day, Jaspers, the curbside prophet, the lighthouse oracle, the ageless father and son of fire, ice, sky, and earth, the timeless mother and daughter of the caravan threaded highlands, Virgil, Dante, Beatrice, Lemtracestria, the fourth generation linguist, philosopher, shoemaker, and Miranda Cordelia Juliet Baltimore. And so the ancient ark builder is removing one by one his tools from the brass trimmed saddlebag of ageless Congress. He is doing this on the side of Mercy Street, where the bells sound at the apex of every quarter hours. Heraclemetry, the kiln designer, and Lady First Light of Day slowly approach his busily employed person, carrying on their slowly approaching persons 2 planks of wood. Behind them loom a cloud-crowned chain of greenlit steeps mounting. The ancient ark builder points to a straw mattress bed by a large window, sitting half open by a single tree in shimmering leaf. That same drunken owl, he says, came to my window last night, as did the black-hatted and black-booted violinist, who also just happens to be an unlicensed wine taster. Says he comes from one of the many lands where kings and queens, until the very day, hour, and minute right, when either at home or farther abroad than we'll ever know, in a script that mixes cuneiform, hieroglyph, and various aborigine articulations. And having said this, the ancient ark builder draws from his saddlebag with great care a tablet of stone upon which is chiseled a single sentence in a script so old that none of them knows its meaning. And the lady, the first light of day, says, "They'll both come to you as might appear of rolling dice tonight, as well until I undress them from your unlisted address with my soul's archetypal emanations, whose increase will send back to their nests and holes all forms of life that stir to action with my disappearing persona." As Heraclemetry, the kiln builder, says, "What was that wine-sipping string plucker exactly playing last night?" To which the ancient ark builder answers, "Vivaldi and Beethoven's Fifth." They addressed my half-listening ears in a form, style, and tempo that I would have never imagined possible, beyond any orchestrated gift for interpretation. Did it point behind itself toward? It was the oddball, eight-ball, and quarter cattle call of whatever is the most fundamental of interpretations, equitabilities. It did everything to move my soul to tears it possibly could, but for all its bootleg marriage of idiosyncrasy, geometry, and interpretation, it couldn't be repeated twice. To which Heraclemetry, the guild designer, said, "That's so, Lady First Lady of Data. Well, the foxes are all out of their holes. They've loaded their butter knife rifles and turned to poaching." "That's so?" They always knew the ink on the Creator's contract never dries. And the ancient ark builder thought for a moment and said, "Your metaphors weren't built for sacred or profane translation. I mean, not into foreign tongues or even the local native tongues." And then Beatrice entered, who had a southern twang and wore long rhinestone-studded gowns, and it was always referring to a pocket watch in her purse, one side of which tells time, the other inside shell of which is fastened a miniature reproduction painting of the Sistine Chapel. She loves animals, especially turtles. Her sentences usually begin in a whisper, rise in intonation, then fall to a whisper again. And so Beatrice says, "Beware, all ye who enter here within. Thou canst leave without tipping," is her recap to Dante's subject of adoration. "See all these street lamps, and all these windows, where the curly-haired violets, wrapped as they are in Nettie O'Brien shawls, refer to the jazz police as the true defenders of art, minus the moment of transcendence. That most important stage of a break with the past. My soulmate was born in Venice, not in Amsterdam, not somewhere in Timbuktu, but in an Italy which did indeed seem to belong to a strange transcendence of the poem. From ancient Greece to a much more juicy grape of the newer homeland for the weary, all immigrant sons and daughters of Awi sailing back and forth between a quintessential monthly rental, to which lady first night late of mornings. Who on earth told you you could leave the library? And the ark builder said, "Yeah, who, where, and when, and do not mince words." And Era McClemetry finally said, "I told her, that's who I told her." "Yes, I folded it into a napkin," said Beatrice, and put it inside my money pouch. "Yes, indeed," said the ark builder. "Indeed, sons and daughters of north, south, east, and west borders are we." Chapter, it's Act 1, Scene 2, or if it were in a book form, it would be Chapter 2. I think I would like to do it as a play, though, with other people. And maybe the band was just with me, and a bunch of maybe 8 or 9 people altogether. Enter, I changed Alfalfa, I think I changed it, and Miranda Cordelia Juliet Barrymore. The ark builder is sleeping on his window side mattress of straw. We can hear a strange solo rendition of Vivaldi's Four Seasons. I bet he's sleeping off another makeout section with Natty Meloditus. Miranda Cordelia Juliet Barrymore replies, "I bet he wears a wide-brimmed sombrero when no one's looking." To which the other says, "Just put the garlic on him before those two nuts find him." And she replies, "Is it true that they're going to dress him up in dressed-up clothes wearer, as a dressed-up clothes wearer, and slip him through Falstaff's mirror into Hildegard von Biegen's German cloister? What an unsightly nun he'd make." To which the linguist philosopher Shoemaker replies, "I bet he's sleeping off another trip down the ladder to Mildred Minigan's window and across the same garden Emily Dickinson used to frequent." Emily Dickinson used to frequent. What about the second decipherable message that will eventually be deciphered by you know who? And the fourth generation linguist philosopher Shoemaker says, "Actually, I left it right outside old Aki's bedroom door." "Who?" said the owl, and a lonesome violin melody is by them in the distance heard, as the two of them cover the ancient ark builder in garlic, setting the second indecipherable tablet of stone by his bit of straw. And and then we see in a new scene the unknown oracle is sitting in the highest room on his beachfront tower, which is full of disappearing hallways, catwalks, and endless spiral staircases, lit from above by gas lamps. He and the father and son of fire, ice, earth, and sky have finished with the stalemated game of chess, are sitting across the average sized room from one another. The rising and fading sounds of lumbering footsteps can be heard all around them, interspersed with cries, whispers, chants, moans, and disembodied readings of ancient sea chanty tales that permeate in free verse forms of very Germanic, Latin derivative, Celtic, and Aborigine languages. Through a window facing the large bay waters, they can see, albeit dimly, ships of sail and steel leaving or returning from farther distant lands than the present time and place might have ever recorded in the annals of comparative histories. The oracle sits back in the chair after drawing a draft of mixed ales. Blindness, a weird, bizarre, and inconceivable form of blindness, has chased me down the months, years, and decades, more and more as time passes. It eclipses my normal sight. I am not blind in the same way others are either born into or are in later years slowly and quickly taken over by. This blindness I am, for the first time revealing to anyone, returns me to the Neolithic days preceding all forms of philosophical, scientific, and spiritual interrelationship, returning me in the way my sight constructs into varied patterns what I see before me. It reinvents the wheel my train of thought puzzles into unity, taking my sense of sights back to earlier days humanity ever knew, where clothing was not worn, the dead were not buried, and tools of agriculture, pasture, and the hunt were not even entertained, and the father and son of ice, fire, sky, and earth. Whether you know it or not, there are at least four forms of normative conceptual blindness that can affect anyone who does not belong to any particular or universal climate of definition, conceptual, or encyclopedic linear triad, replacing this normal human pattern of syntax and semantic understanding instead in the reverse. In other words, the encyclopedic precedes the conceptual just as the conceptual precedes the definition. And the oracle thought for a moment and said, "Is this the reason why every subject or object relation between material and unmaterial mood oriented reality is connected by make to model cross section? Not only two separate vehicles of transport united under the same company logo, but everything that is divided from the absolute unified whole is the make of the nearby model in some strange and inexplicable way." and that's and I hope to maybe the man who joined me before can act out the future scenes or a bunch of actors or make a play out of it in a book too. So that's my newest story. And peace, love. I hope you all enjoyed it. I don't know where my that was given to me by my beautiful neighbor. And so, God bless, peace. All my neighbors, everyone's great around here. All good people.